What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to show you guys the best settings for LUX Algo. Now, all right, maybe these aren't the best settings, but these are my personal settings that I like to put on my indicators because if you guys are familiar with LUX Algo Premium, it is a complete trading suite and has three main aspects to the indicator. You have LUX Algo Premium, where you have your buy and sell signals along with a plethora of different overlays that you can put on your chart, amongst many, many other things. And then you have your LUX Algo oscillators, which is a collection of different oscillators that come up on the bottom of your screen. They have a tweaked MACD, an ultimate RSI, an ultimate MACD, and a lot of those indicators are very similar to your traditional indicators, but tweaked and weighted in a way that make them much better for trading. And then we're also going to go over the LUX Algo price actions concept settings that I have, because this is a newer part of the indicator that has wound up being extremely useful for things like finding support and resistance. So I'm going to show you guys all of those settings as well. And if you guys have not tried out LUX Algo Premium, don't forget, guys, they do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you could try this indicator for completely zero risk. And if you don't like it, or you don't make all your money back and you absolutely hate it, you can just go ahead and get a full refund. And on top of that, guys, we are doing a limited time discount for the CandleMafia. As you guys know, if you use our link in the description, typically you would save 25%, but if you use our link and the discount code Frankie30 in all capitals, no spaces, you'll actually save 30% on your purchase. But before we get into it, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of these awesome tutorials or urgent market updates that we upload to the channel. So without further ado, guys, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and finally jump into the chart so I can show you guys all these custom settings that I have on LUX Algo to, again, keep your chart clean and neat and not overcrowded, because if you guys watch my channel, you know I'm a big believer in keeping your TA simple and not overcomplicating things, and more importantly, keeping your chart clean. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm able to set up this trifecta on LUX Algo and get this killer combination of indicators on my chart, giving me super important key information without having every overlay on and every level on, making my chart super cluttered. We're going to keep it simple, we're keeping it clean, but it is super powerful. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. Now, obviously, the time frame doesn't really matter for this video, but if you guys have signed up for LUX Algo and you have not added it to your chart yet, you're going to want to go ahead and come up to your indicators tab here, click one time, and then come down to invite only scripts. And then you will see here, if you bought the indicator, you will see LUX Algo oscillators, LUX Algo price actions concepts, and LUX Algo signals and overlays. We're going to be touching on all three of these indicators or sections of the indicator suite. I don't know how you want to say that, but I'm going to show you guys all my settings for each one of these sections. Now, I already have these on my chart. So first off, let's start with the oscillator. Now, my favorite indicator to use from the oscillator section of LUX Algo is going to be the ultimate RSI. Now, here is what it looks like. It looks very similar to the regular RSI, except this does react a little quicker to price action, making it a little bit of a better option if you're actually trading, especially short-term trading. Again, this is weighted in a way where it will actually give you earlier signals or help you avoid false signals, but really the reason I have this on my chart is because if I'm not looking at Market Cipher B or any other indicator, I can use my RSI to find divergences, which if you watch the channel, you guys will know that is a big part of my trading. So with this indicator setup, this is the oscillator that I like to look at to find my divergences. So pretty simple there, guys. I don't change any settings on the RSI, but basically all you would want to do to bring this up on your chart is come to your indicators, click on LUX Algo's oscillators, and then once you get in there, you can open up your settings, and you'll see here they have different types of oscillators. They have the ultimate stochastic, ultimate MACD, ultimate RSI, and then they have advanced and pivot, which are a little bit different than your traditional indicators, but the RSI, MACD, and stochastic are very similar to the traditional indicators, but again, just tweaked more in favor for a trader. So again, that ultimate RSI is the oscillator that I like to look at when I'm using Lux Algo. And now let's go ahead and move on to our next section of the indicator, which is Lux Algo Premium Overlays, which again, guys, I believe this is where Lux Algo started. This will look very familiar to you guys if you've ever seen it before, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it on here so you guys can see what we got going on. Now, as you guys can see, my colors might look a little bit different than yours, and the only reason that is because if you go into your settings here, you can see you could come over to Style, and it allows you to change the colors of most of the things that pop up on this indicator, and I've just changed them from the typical red and green for most things to the blue and the purple just to match my charts and my candles and the branding of the channel. So don't let that get you thrown off. It is the same indicator. I've just changed the colors, and if you're interested in doing that, maybe I'll make another video showing you guys exactly what I have changed as far as the colors of all the things on the indicators, but that is not for today's video. But if you guys are interested, you can come to Style and play around with all those colors in these settings. But what I actually want to show you guys here is how I have the indicator actually set up and why. So if you come to your basic settings, guys, I am not using any presets or filters. My signal mode is set to confirmation and exits. This is how it is set up by default, and that is what gives you the buy signals, the strong sell signals, the regular sell signals, and the strong buy signals. Now, then you have your signals sensitivity, which I obviously will change based off of what the optimal sensitivity of the time frame I'm looking at is. Now, this is kind of getting into a tutorial on the actual indicator. If you guys want to know how to use Lux Algo and how to use it in different trading strategies, we have multiple scalping and swing trading strategies on the channel using Lux Algo that you can go back and watch right now. But again, this is just what I have turned on Lux Algo because as you can see, there is a plethora of stuff here, right? So you could turn on the Neo Cloud, the EQ Cloud, the Trend Tracer, the reversal zones. You have the dashboard on, but very quickly, guys, this gets unreadable, right? There is just too much information here, and like I always say, too much information can be bad information. So we're gonna go ahead and turn all that stuff off, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly why I have things set up the way I do. So let's go back here. Now, the main things that I have on the chart here, guys, again, I'm gonna turn off our overlays. This is just regular Lux Algo, and typically, guys, I do toggle autopilot on and off. Now, if you hover over this information, you can see that autopilot allows the confirmation signals to adjust dynamically rather than based on a setting. Use this if you don't want to adjust the sensitivity or confirmation agility, right? So if you don't want to mess around with your signal sensitivity, you can put it on autopilot, let the algorithm do its thing, and it will give you pretty good signals if you ask me. You could see here, obviously, we did get that sell signal, a little bit of a move down. Then you got a strong buy, but that strong sell oversold it. Get the sell signal, big move to the downside. Then you get your buy signal up here. You get that big move up, and then we got a sell signal here, and we came down, right? So pretty reliable signals. Obviously, you don't want to just trade based off of these buy and sell signals. These are called confirmation signals, so you want to use them as confirmations to get into your trade, not trade entry signals. Granted, they are very accurate. With that being said, this is the main thing. This is kind of the main feature here, or the most well-known feature of Lux Algo, but it is not the only feature, let me tell you. And I'll be honest with you, I use these as confirmations, but I do find a lot of the stuff on the indicator even more useful than the confirmation signals. And one of those things that I have really been using a lot more in my TA, and I just find myself, it's kind of like a pacifier. I find myself going back to the smart trail to go back and see, hey, let me just get a little extra confirmation. What's the smart trail doing? What's the smart trail doing? I just catch myself continually going back to that smart trail, wanting to know what it looks like on multiple time frames. So that is one of the things that I've been using a lot on Lux Algo. I've really been liking it. Now, the reason I have the smart trail on the chart is because it works as if you get price to wick down into the blue smart trail. This, number one, would indicate that we are in a bullish trend once that smart trail turns blue. This can work kind of as a filter. So you may not want to take long positions depending on your strategy, obviously. And I will be coming out with some scalping strategies using this smart trail, guys, because it's super, super useful. So stay tuned for that. But typically when you're above the smart trail and it is blue, it will act as support. You could see we got a wick into that smart trail. We got a move up. We wicked back into the smart trail. We got another move up. Then we wicked, or didn't really wick, but we came back down into the smart trail, got another move up, but then we wound up breaking down. And you can see as we got that sell signal and we broke below the blue smart trail, you could see that it flipped purple and turns into resistance, right? And now you can use the smart trail as an active or dynamic level of resistance, and this can really give you a super high level of confluence if you are going to get rejected, because just like when you wick into the blue smart trail and get a move up, if you wick into the red smart trail, typically you do get a move down. You wicked into it here, moved down, you wicked back into it, you moved down again, and then obviously if we get another move up and our smart trail winds up coming in again like this, say, and we wick back into it, we can expect that to be a strong level of support and resistance, especially if it lines up with other key levels, right? We want to use multiple levels of confluence, right? So this is kind of where I always find myself. The most recent example I can think of is this trade that we took in our premium Discord. This short position from this rejection right here wound up playing out really, really well, giving us about a pretty decent move of about 8%. Super profitable trade. However, not only were we up in this smart trail, kind of how this trade idea went down was I saw that when I pulled my golden pocket from this high all the way to the low, from this high to this low, you could see we actually came up and got rejected from that local golden pocket once here, and then we came up to test it again, and I knew there was a high likelihood that we would reject here, not only because we were testing that local golden pocket, and I know that is where price likes to put in lower highs, but we also had the confirmation of the key level right here, which is our value area low of our previous range. So if I go ahead and pull that line up right here, this is your value area low, you could see that between our 786, our previous value area low, that golden pocket, that is honestly a decent bit of confluence, right? Not only do you have the golden pocket and the 786 fib levels, which I know are likely going to be places where price puts in a lower high, but this is kind of where I use the smart trail as a pacifier, where I'm like, ooh, it looks like a good trade. Oh, look at that. We also have a bearish divergence into this key level with higher highs on our price action and lower highs on our RSI, giving us that bearish divergence. Now, this alone would be a very, very confident trade. However, if you go ahead and turn on LUX Algo Premium, you can see that we are right within that bearish smart trail, giving us that extra confirmation that this will be a great place to reject from, because we know typically when you wick into that purple zone, you will get a rejection. So that was just a quick example of how I use the smart trail as confluence, but we're going to get deeper into that into another video. So aspect number 2 of the LUX Algo Premium indicator that I like to have on my chart is the smart trail. So we got the confirmation signals on here. We got the smart trail. Now, what else do I like to add to my LUX Algo indicator? So let's go back into our settings. And the next thing I like to keep on my chart when I look at LUX Algo is going to be that trend catcher. Now, as you guys can see, this trend catcher, I'm actually going to turn off our smart trail just to clean things up. But you can see here that our smart trail turns blue and purple. I'm actually, for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and return the smart trail to its default colors of red and green, just so it's a little bit easier for you guys to understand. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the settings of the trend catcher back to the default settings of green and red, just so you guys can see it a little bit easier. But you guys can see, actually, if we go ahead and hide our candles, let me go ahead and hide these candles really quick. You can see the trend catcher is red and then turns green when it notices that you are entering into an uptrend, right? I don't use this in the same way I use the smart trail, but I use this as a trend confirmation, right? So bringing our candles back up, it can generally be thought that if the trend catcher is red, that would indicate that you could be having a downtrend incoming. And a lot of times, guys, the reason I like this indicator so much on Lux Algo is because these trend catchers will catch the trend reversal before they happen. So you can imagine that, look how accurate this is, right? This goes from green to red before the downtrend begins, right? And then you can see the trend catcher turns green right here before we get this massive move to the upside, and then the trend catcher turns red right on this candle right here, which was literally the top of this pump. And on top of that, guys, just because I see it here, I also do like to keep the take profit signals on Lux Algo on. These are super helpful. So if you were in a long position off of this buy signal and you got in here, you see that you're coming up in an uptrend. The smart trail's turning blue. You're feeling good. You're riding your trade up. The trend catcher's all green. It's feeling great. And then you get into this candle here and you see this blue X. That's indicating that it might be a good place to start taking a little bit of profit as it is sensing the top of the move incoming. And as you can see, this blue X called that top almost perfectly. And on top of that, you did have the trend catcher turning red on that exact candle as well, saving you and letting you know that you should pay yourself before you get that move to the downside. And again, you come wick into that blue smart trail and then get another move up. Just a little more kudos to that smart trail. And then, guys, I just went ahead and let me go ahead and turn that trend catcher back on. And then again, my indicator will likely look different than yours. But again, the only reason it is different is because I went ahead and changed all the colors to match my branding, and the trend catcher is the same thing. You could see instead of green, it is blue, and then instead of red, it is purple. And then you could see even right here, as we started coming down, you can see once we broke below that trend catcher, we turned it red, and that was the beginning of a big move down. And again, just so I can show you guys how to use these indicators with confluence, not only did your trend catcher turn red right here, letting you know, hey, we may start a downtrend, but you also got a sell signal and your smart trail flipped to resistance right here. So this actually would have been a really, really good indication that you were going to continue to the downside, because you get your sell signal. The blue smart trail was turning to resistance, making it purple, letting us know we may be starting a downtrend. And on top of that, that trend catcher was giving you super, super early warning signs. And again, that is why I am choosing these specific overlays to put on my chart. So there we go. I do like to have the smart trail and the trend catcher because it could kind of work as a filter in your trading. You may not want to be looking for longs if you are below the trend catcher on a specific time frame. In this case, we're below it on the 4-hour. What a lot of people do is, depending on their strategy, they just simply won't take longs unless the trend catcher is green and the smart trail is also green as well, in my case blue. But you could use these as a filter to stay out of bad trades, or at least know when a trade would be better off to be treated as a scalp rather than a swing trade. So super, super helpful there, guys. And I think that just about wraps up the Lux Algo Premium Indicator. Now, again, guys, you want to remember that these settings are not the end-all, be-all, although I kind of feel like these settings are super overpowered. But please understand, guys, you might prefer to look at the reversal zones, right? You may not like the smart trail. You may rather look at the reversal zones. So as we go through this video, I just want to really hammer home the point that you need to use the indicators on your chart that work for you. Just know that if you like looking at other things on Lux Algo that are not what I have set up on my chart right now, you're not doing anything wrong. But this is what I like to use and what works for me and what I think works really well. So I just like to share it with the CandleMafia. So guys, let's go ahead. I'm actually going to turn off our Lux Algo Premium Indicator. And again, you know, the buy and sell signals, I do leave there. I love these as confirmation signals. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for now. And I want to dive into our next indicator, which is Lux Algo Price Actions Concepts. Now, this is a super cool feature that was added to Lux Algo not too long ago. And not only does it show you live market structure, which we'll take a look at in a second, but it also shows you order blocks, as well as fair value gaps. You can pull up trend lines. It also has pattern detection, liquidity grabs. There is a ton of stuff on this indicator, but again, I don't always have it all on at the same time. So I'm going to show you how I keep this super simple, but also super powerful. So let's go ahead and make this visible on the chart. This is what my Lux Algo price action concepts indicator looks like, and you'll notice that it may be a little bit cleaner than yours, and that's because I designed it this way. So just to give you an idea of what I have on my chart here, you could see we do have a little bit of market structure here. You could see there was a break of structure once we cracked these highs, and then if we go back in time, you could see you have a change of character once we broke these lows, and this is just letting us know, hey, you're breaking out here, bullish change of character on the 4-hour. That is a bullish sign, maybe a good time to get into a long position. And if you had our Lux Algo premium settings in this area, you would have been able to get into a nice trade using that smart trail along with the Lux Algo price action concepts. But again, I will be coming out with more strategy videos with this indicator, but we do have the market structure labeling on the price action concept indicator. And you can see also here, I do have the premium, discount, and equilibrium zones here. This is really nice because it kind of lets you know where your range is. As you guys know, I absolutely love trading ranges. So this just lets you know kind of if you come up into this price, this is saying that price is at a premium and could be likely to reject from that area. And then you have equilibrium, which is likely going to be the middle of your range. I do think of this somewhat like a point of control. They are not the same thing, but you could kind of think of this as your value area high, value area low, and your POC. Whereas if you come up to your premium zone, that's kind of like being at your value area high, and you know that price might be a little overvalued and it might be likely to get a rejection. Same thing with your equilibrium and your value area low. It just gives you that nice little range to be looking at, and it could give you a little bit more context into the market that you're looking at. So I keep these on. Again, I just changed the colors to match my brand. But this is, I'll show you guys how to turn these on and off. So we have our market structure, our premium and discount zones. And then you can see I have here PWH, which is previous weekly high. These are typically very strong levels, especially if they are untapped as this one is up here at about $24,000. And then you can see here, we put in this previous weekly low back all the way back in the beginning of March 2nd, wasn't that long ago, but you could see we got a big bounce there, ranged around, but price did want to come back down and revisit that previous weekly low. So this is something I like to keep on my chart because a lot of times that these previous weekly highs and weekly lows are a lot of the time a good point of interest and could act as strong support and resistance. Now, also, guys, I do keep some order blocks on the chart here. Now, I am a little bit specific with this. I don't like having a ton of order blocks on the chart, and Lux Algo just came out with an update that allows you to look at order blocks from a different time frame, and it allows you to display those order blocks on whatever time frame you're looking at. And I know that sounds a little confusing, but let's say you're trading on the 4-hour and you only want to see order blocks from the daily. You can actually now change that in your settings where you can now be looking at the 4-hour chart but only seeing your daily order blocks. It's called multi-time frame order blocks, and I'm going to make a video just dedicated to that because it's a pretty cool update, and I'll go a little bit deeper in that video. So these are the major things that I have on my price action concepts indicator. And I almost forgot here, I keep on the strong and weak highs and lows. As you can see, we have weak low down here, strong high up here. Again, this can help you find ranges. In this case, you can see it's 52%. Now, this works by analyzing the volume at the highs and the lows and comparing them to each other. And in this case right now, we have about 52% at the highs and 48% at the lows, making it a pretty even range, letting us know that we actually might maintain within this range of price action, right? Now, if we had a 99% strong low right here, this would be a level we'd be looking at for a really strong level of support, letting us know that the algorithm's telling us, hey, there's like a 98% chance this was a super strong low. If we come back down here, you may get a strong reaction. So super interesting to look at. And then pulling up our settings here, guys, you could see obviously a plethora of settings. Obviously we have our previous weekly highs and lows, but you can also do your previous Monday high and low, previous daily high and low, monthly and quarterly as well. So whatever you like to do, that's obviously up to you. But again, I just like to keep the weeklies because it's the ones that I use the most, right? Now, moving up here, this is the premium discount zones. Obviously, we just went through those and what they are and why I have them on the chart, but I keep these on. I will keep the fair value gaps on as well, guys. And I know it's a little hard to see here, but they do pop up as these little boxes. You can see this little purple box right here. And I have a video just talking about the fair value gaps, but that is something I like to keep on the chart because those fair value gaps are sometimes a point of interest as well. And then really what I do here to clean up the charts, guys, is I turn off all my internal market structure. Basically what this does, guys, is this will show you smaller market structure changes. So I don't really like having the internal market structure on, so I'll actually turn this off to clean things up. But what I'm more interested in seeing is more of the swing market structure. So I keep these all on, and you can see there's just way less labeling when you're looking at it from a swing perspective. So you can see here we have a change of character, break a structure, break a structure, break a structure before we rejected this order block here. But you could just see the swing market structure is a little bit cleaner. You're not getting break a structure every single candle, and it just gets really messy with the internal structure on. So I just like to keep it as swing. And I mean, to be honest, the swing market structure is the more important thing if you're looking for those bigger trades. So there you go. Internal market structure off, swing market structure is on, and then I turn off the equal lows and highs. This is just another thing that will continually clutter up your chart. There are tons of equal lows and highs, so I turn that off. No candle coloring, but this is the one thing that I do turn on is the show strong and weak higher low, and that is what gives you the percentages. And again, if you had a super strong high here with a 98%, that would indicate that it is likely that this was a very significant high and you will come down lower. And if you come back up to it and it still says 98%, it's probably going to be a strong level of resistance. Whereas if it was 2% and said weak high, it would be much more likely to push up through that level and create a stronger high up at higher prices, right? So I check that off. Then same thing with order blocks, guys. Now, I do keep the internal order blocks off. Again, it just shows more GAC on your chart. So I like to keep that to swing order blocks. And again, swing order blocks, just like the market structure, are going to be a little bit more significant. So I really only want to keep the super, super strong, important stuff on my chart. I don't want to be cluttered by every single little weak level of support or resistance or order block or what have you. I like to keep the most significant, strongest signals on the chart. So I do keep the swing order blocks on. Other than that, guys, fair value gaps are on. Premium discounts, we went over that. That is on. I don't like to show accumulation distribution zones. Just something I don't use. Doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't typically look at it. And then weekly highs and lows is going to be that last thing. Everything other than that is completely off. You guys can feel free, obviously, to pause this video and screenshot my settings so you can copy them exactly if you're interested. But guys, these settings, not only on the price actions concepts, not only on Lux Algo Premium, but also looking at our oscillator down here, this makes for an absolutely killer Lux Algo setup here. We have a pretty clean chart, right? And I don't even really look at both of these at the same time. If I'm looking at Lux Algo price action concepts, I'll typically have my Lux Algo Premium hidden, and then I find out what I need. Okay, we're getting pretty close to this low here. We're getting close to that previous weekly low. We're down close to the discount zone. We're clearly at the bottom of the range here, so I'll be looking for support. We have a big order block down here. And then when I'm done getting my information, whatever I'm trying to gather from this indicator, I'll go ahead and turn that off and turn on Lux Algo Premium, see where my smart trail is, what's the trend catcher saying on this time frame or this time frame. And sometimes I will actually pull them all up at the same time. And again, just because it's a recent example, this is a great example of how you can use these indicators together, because at this moment we came up to our smart trail looking like a bearish rejection, because we know typically we get rejected here. We also had the local golden pocket here. On top of that, we used our RSI to find that bearish divergence into that smart trail, giving us extra confidence that we would likely reject from here. And again, that sell signal and red trend catcher from all the way up here would indicate that we are still in a downtrend, and until that trend catcher turns green, we are expecting another move down. So we did have a ton of confluence here, and this is just some of the ways you can use this combination of settings and indicators on Lux Algo to make an absolutely overpowered setup. So guys, I think that's all I got for today's video, I just wanted to make this one quick and just show you guys kind of what my settings on LUX Algo are. There's just so many features that I think sometimes people get lost in the sauce a little bit, as they say. Again, guys, stick around. I'm going to start showing some more trading strategies using this setup because I don't always pull it up on videos or in the live stream, but it is something I constantly turn on and off on my chart. So I want to cover some more trading strategies using these different indicators and showing you guys how you can use all of these indicators, whether you're using my settings or your own custom settings. I want to show you guys how you can use all these indicators together to find amazing confluence to get into some super profitable trades. And don't forget, guys, if you want to sign up for LUX Algo and try it absolutely risk-free for 30 days, click that link in the description down below. And don't forget to use the discount code Frankie30 to save 30% off just for the CandleMafia. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide.